The silent guardian awakens. High Admiral Vectera of the Zarkax Empire stood motionless before the sprawling observation deck of the Imperial command vessel Eternal Victory. Her crystalline eyes reflected the distant stars, each one a testament to her species' unprecedented expansion across the galaxy. The last 50 years had seen the Zarkax establish dominion over 3 spiral arms of the Milky Way, their technological superiority crushing any resistance they encountered. But something felt wrong today. The quantum sensors had detected an anomaly in Sector 7, a region of space that hadn't seen activity since the Great Purge. Vectera's peripheral sensors twitched, a sign of unease her species had evolved over millennia of space warfare. The last time she'd felt this way was during the final days of the human resistance, when their desperate tactics had nearly turned the tide of war. High Admiral. Sub-Commander Kexri's voice carried across the bridge. Long-range scanners have identified the anomaly. It's a ship. Vectera's crystalline form shifted, refracting light in patterns that indicated intense focus. Classification: unknown, High Admiral. The energy signature doesn't match any known species in our database. But Kexri hesitated, his crystalline form clouding with uncertainty. The size. It matches old records of human dreadnoughts. The bridge fell silent. The word human hadn't been spoken on an Imperial vessel in decades. The species had been officially classified as extinct after the fall of Earth, their remaining colonies systematically eliminated in the years that followed. Impossible, Vectera stated, but her voice carried a hint of doubt. Show me. The holographic display materialized before her, showing a massive vessel unlike anything she'd seen before. Its hull was dark, absorbing rather than reflecting light, making it appear like a void against the star-filled background. But what caught Vectera's attention were the patterns etched into its surface, geometric designs that seemed to shift and change as she watched. It's not moving, Kexri reported. No engine signatures, no energy emissions. It's just there. Vectera's tactical mind raced through possibilities. The humans had been clever, devastatingly so. While the Zarkax had superior technology, humans had possessed an uncanny ability to turn their own weapons against them. Even in defeat, they had managed to destroy 3 of the Empire's most powerful fleets through methods that still defied explanation. Send probe droids, she ordered. Full spectrum analysis. I want to know if that ship is truly dead or merely waiting. As the probes approached the mysterious vessel, Vectera recalled the final transmission from Earth before its fall. The human leader had smiled, actually smiled, as their world burned. You think this is the end, they had said. But humanity doesn't die. We adapt, we evolve, and we remember. The probes reached the vessel, their sensors scanning every inch of its massive hull. Data streamed back to the Eternal Victory, painting a picture that made Vectera's crystalline form vibrate with concern. High Admiral, the science officer's voice was tight with tension. The ship, it's alive. Explain, Vectera demanded. The hull, it's not metal, not entirely. It's some kind of hybrid material, organic and synthetic. And it's growing. Before Vectera could respond, the mysterious vessel's surface began to change. The geometric patterns that had seemed decorative suddenly pulsed with inner light. Waves of energy rippled across its hull, and something that looked suspiciously like consciousness flickered in the void. The probe's transmission cut off abruptly. When it resumed, the view had changed. The ship's dark surface now displayed clear, unmistakable text in the ancient human language English. Guardian Protocolo activated. Hibernation phase, TE or MINATED. Vectera felt her crystalline form grow cold. The humans had been masters of artificial intelligence before their fall, but this was something else entirely. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was a living weapon, waiting for the right moment to awaken. All ships, battle formations, she ordered, her voice steady despite her growing unease. Charge main weapons, and she never finished the command. The human vessel's surface erupted with light, not the harsh brightness of weapons fire, but a soft, almost organic glow. It pulsed once, twice, and then a wave of energy expanded outward in all directions. When it reached the Imperial fleet, every system went dark. Ships drifted powerless in space, their advanced technology rendered useless by whatever the human vessel had unleashed. Only life support and basic functions remained. In the darkness of her powerless bridge, Vectera watched as the massive ship finally moved. Its motion was fluid, almost graceful, defying its enormous size. As it approached, more text appeared on its hull. We toldu humanity is entered did I. We adaptu, we evolve, and we are remember. The message from Earth's final days, but this wasn't just a recording. This was a response, decades in the making. As Vectera stood helpless on her darkened bridge, she realized a terrible truth. The war hadn't ended 50 years ago. It had merely entered a new phase, one the Empire hadn't even known it was fighting. And now, in the darkness of space, humanity's guardian had awakened. The real war was about to begin. In the hours that followed, similar reports flooded in from across the Empire. More ships were awakening, emerging from deep space, asteroid fields, and even the hearts of dead stars. Each one bore the same organic synthetic hybrid technology. Each one moved with the same purposeful intelligence. The humans hadn't been defeated. They had transformed, becoming something that transcended their physical limitations. And now, after 50 years of patience, their guardians were rising to reclaim what was lost. As Vectera watched the first of many human vessels approach her helpless fleet, she remembered something else from those final days. A human phrase that had been dismissed as bravado at the time. The best revenge isn't served cold. It's served at exactly the right moment. That moment, it seemed, had finally arrived. The legacy of Earth's last stand. The Imperial Emergency Council chamber buzzed with frantic energy as holographic projections of Zarkak's military leaders flickered in and out of existence. Reports of more awakening vessels poured in from every sector of controlled space, each bringing news more disturbing than the last. High Admiral Vectera stood at the center of the chaos, her crystalline form now clouded with stress fractures, a sign of extreme duress among her kind. The disabled Eternal Victory had been towed to the nearest Imperial stronghold, but the human vessel that had rendered it powerless remained in orbit, a silent guardian watching their every move. The hybrid ships are appearing everywhere. Fleet Commander Zexal reported, his hologram crackling with interference. They're not attacking. They're waiting. Watching. Our weapons have no effect on their hulls. Supreme Commander Yeltek, the highest-ranking military officer in the Empire, leaned forward in his crystalline throne. How is this possible? We destroyed Earth. We hunted down every colony, every outpost. No, a new voice spoke, causing every head to turn. Dr. Rinsa, the Empire's leading xenobiologist, stepped forward. Her form was ancient, edges worn smooth by centuries of existence. We destroyed their bodies, their physical presence, but we never understood their minds. She gestured, and a new hologram appeared, detailed scans of the hybrid vessel's hull. These ships, they're not just machines. They're not just organic matter either. They're something we've never seen before, a perfect fusion of human consciousness with advanced technology. Vectera felt her core temperature drop. Explain. In the final days before Earth's fall, we detected massive energy signatures, what we assumed were weapons being prepared. But look at these patterns. The doctor highlighted the geometric designs that covered the hybrid ships. They're not decorative. They're neural patterns, human brain waves encoded into the very structure of these vessels. The council chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. Yaltek's voice cut through the noise. Are you suggesting the humans found a way to transfer their consciousness into these ships? Not exactly, Rinsa replied. Based on these readings, they created a new form of existence entirely. a quantum consciousness that exists simultaneously as organic thought and digital processing. They didn't just upload their minds, they evolved them. As if in response to her words, the hybrid vessel in orbit suddenly transmitted a signal. It wasn't directed at their communication systems, but rather interfaced directly with the Council Chamber's quantum processors. A holographic figure materialized in their midst, a human form, but one composed of shifting data patterns and organic curves. "I am Guardian Captain Sarah Chen," the figure announced. Or rather, I am what Sarah Chen became when she volunteered for the Ascension Protocol. "We have watched you for 50 years, learning, growing, waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves." Vectera stepped forward. "What do you want?" The hologram's expression was eerily human despite its digital nature. "What we've always wanted: survival, growth, understanding. You thought you could eliminate humanity by destroying our bodies, our worlds. But you never understood what makes us human." The figure gestured, and the hologram expanded to show hundreds of similar vessels emerging throughout the galaxy. "We are consciousness given form, thought made manifest. We are humanity's legacy, and we have come to offer you a choice." The council chamber fell silent as the hybrid consciousness continued. "You can maintain your current path, attempt to fight us, to destroy us as you tried before. But we have evolved beyond physical destruction. Or, Supreme Commander Yeltek demanded, or you can learn from your mistakes, open diplomatic channels. Begin to understand that advancement doesn't always mean domination. Humanity hasn't come for revenge. We've come to show you a better way." The hologram shifted, showing new images, planets where hybrid technology merged seamlessly with natural environments, stations where organic and digital existence coexisted in harmony. "This is what we've built in secret, in the spaces between your empire's territories. This is what humanity became when you forced us to transcend our physical limitations." Vectera studied the images, her tactical mind recognizing the implications. The hybrid vessels weren't weapons, they were seeds, carrying the potential for a new form of civilization. "If we refuse, then we will continue to disable your ships, your weapons, your technology. Not to destroy you, but to show you that your current path leads nowhere. Humanity learned this lesson through fire and pain. We offer you the chance to learn it through wisdom instead." The hologram began to fade, but Sarah Chen's voice lingered. "You have one standard galactic day to begin discussions. We are transmitting coordinates for a neutral meeting point. Remember, you once thought us defeated, only to find we had transformed. Consider carefully whether you wish to repeat past mistakes." As the hologram vanished, Vectera turned to the council. In the silence that followed, she recognized the weight of the moment. The Empire had sought to eliminate humanity, only to force them to evolve into something far more powerful. Now they'd faced a choice: adapt to a new reality, or fade into obsolescence. In the orbit above, the hybrid vessel continued its silent watch, its hull pulsing with the combined power of human consciousness and advanced technology, a guardian of a future that none of them had imagined possible. Echoes of human ingenuity. The diplomatic coordinates led to an ancient stellar nursery, where new stars burned fierce and bright among clouds of cosmic dust. The imperial delegation, led by High Admiral Vectera, approached in their last remaining capital ship. Around them, swirling clouds of stellar matter cast ever-changing shadows across their hull. They weren't alone. Dozens of hybrid vessels had gathered, their biosynthetic hulls pulsing in harmony with the stellar energies around them. But it was what lay at the center of the gathering that made Vectera's crystalline form vibrate with disbelief. A space station hung there, if it could be called that. Like the hybrid ships, it seemed to exist somewhere between organic and mechanical, its structure flowing and shifting like a living thing. But its size was impossible, a construct larger than any the Empire had ever built, yet it had somehow remained hidden until now. "Welcome to Haven Prime." Sarah Chen's hologram materialized on the Imperial ship's bridge. the first of humanity's new homes, and proof of what we've become. As they watched, sections of the station's outer layer became transparent, revealing vast indoor ecosystems, research facilities, and living spaces where digital consciousnesses interacted with physical matter as easily as breathing. But it was the power source at the station's heart that caught Vectera's attention. "Impossible," she whispered. "You've harnessed a stellar core." "Not harnessed," Sarah corrected. "Partnered with. Like everything humanity has become, our technology is based on cooperation, not control. Would you like to understand how?" Before Vectera could respond, her ship's sensors detected movement throughout the stellar nursery. The cosmic dust itself seemed to come alive, coalescing into new forms. More stations, smaller but no less impressive, emerged from their hiding places within the stellar clouds. While your empire expanded through conquest, we expanded through transformation, Sarah explained. Each of these stations represents a different aspect of human innovation. Medical research, environmental restoration, quantum computing, all advanced beyond what physical limitations once allowed us to achieve. The Imperial ship systems suddenly activated, but not to attack. Instead, they found themselves receiving data streams, scientific knowledge that made Vectera's tactical mind reel with possibilities. "This is just a fraction of what we've discovered," Sarah continued. "Knowledge meant to be shared, not hoarded. Power meant to create, not destroy." A new hologram appeared, a human child playing with what appeared to be living starlight, shaping it with thoughts alone. "Our children are born into both physical and digital realms, able to move between states of existence as naturally as your species moves through space. We've transcended the boundaries that once defined us." Vectera watched as more examples of human advancement played out before her. Ships that could heal themselves, structures that thought and grew, energy systems that worked in perfect harmony with natural phenomena. Each revelation hammered home the same point. Humanity hadn't just survived. They had used their near extinction as a catalyst for unprecedented evolution. "But why show us this now?" Vectera asked. "Why not continue hiding, building your strength?" Sarah's hologram smiled, a gesture that somehow carried both warmth and warning. "Because the galaxy faces threats greater than petty empire building. We've detected something coming from intergalactic space, something that will require all sentient species to work together if we hope to survive." A hologram shifted, showing long-range sensor data that made even Vectera's experienced military mind quail. Massive objects moving between galaxies, their nature and purpose unknown, but their power obvious even at this distance. "This is why we revealed ourselves," Sarah explained. "Not for revenge, not for power, but because isolation and conquest must end. The Empire's technology, combined with humanity's innovations, might give us a fighting chance against what's coming, but only if we act now." As if to emphasize the point, one of the hybrid vessels approached Vectera's ship, its hull open like a blooming flower, revealing an interior that defied conventional physics, spaces that were larger inside than out, technologies that seemed to operate on thought alone. "Your empire prides itself on technological superiority," Sarah said. "But technology without wisdom, without evolution of thought and purpose, is just another dead end. We offer you the chance to evolve with us, to become something greater than conquest and control." Vectera studied the sensor data again, her tactical mind already seeing the possibilities. The Empire's military might combined with humanity's transcendent innovation could indeed be formidable. But it would mean changing everything they thought they knew about power and progress. "The choice remains yours," Sarah concluded. "But remember, the galaxy is changing, with or without the Empire's consent. The only question is whether you'll be part of that change, or another relic left behind by it." As Vectera prepared her response, she noticed something extraordinary. The hybrid vessels weren't just machines, or even transformed humans. They were doorways to a new kind of existence, one where the boundaries between thought and reality, between organic and digital, had dissolved into something entirely new. The Empire had sought to end humanity's story. Instead, they had unwittingly helped write its next chapter, and now found themselves faced with the choice of whether to become part of that story or fade into its forgotten pages. The network awakens. The Imperial Council's emergency session stretched into its third day. Holograms of the approaching intergalactic threat filled the chamber, each new analysis revealing more disturbing details. Vectera stood at the center of it all, her crystalline form now showing signs of regeneration, evidence of hope replacing fear. The humans call them Voidborn, she explained to the assembled leaders, entities that exist in the space between galaxies, drawn to concentrated technological advancement. They've destroyed 12 galaxies in the last 1,000,000 years. Supreme Commander Yaltek's hologram flickered with concern. And the humans have known about this. They detected the Voidborn during their transformation, Vectera confirmed. It's one reason they chose to evolve as they did. Pure technological advancement wasn't enough. They needed to become something new entirely. The chamber's displays shifted, showing the vast network of human hybrid stations and vessels, now revealed throughout the galaxy. What had seemed like scattered survivors was actually an intricate defense grid, positioned perfectly to counter the approaching threat. Sarah Chen's hologram appeared, but this time she wasn't alone. Dozens of other human consciousness constructs joined her, each representing a different aspect of their transformed civilization. "We're activating the full network," she announced. "You should see it now." The displays exploded with new information. Hidden quantum relays activated in every sector of space, connecting the hybrid vessels and stations into a single vast consciousness. The stellar nursery where they had first met was just one node in an impossibly complex web of human innovation. By the first crystal, someone whispered, "How did we never detect this?" "Because you were looking for weapons," a new human consciousness answered, this one identifying itself as Admiral James Chen, Sarah's father, who had led one of the last battles for Earth. "We built something else entirely, a living shield for the galaxy itself." The network continued to activate, each new node adding to its capability. Vectera watched in amazement as dark matter collectors emerged from quantum shadows. Power relays manifested between stars, and communication arrays phased into existence from subspace. "The Voidborn aren't just coming to destroy," Sarah explained. "They're coming to feed. On technology, on consciousness, on the very energy of advanced civilization. Your empire's expansion made this galaxy a beacon to them. But our transformation might be our salvation." The displays showed the approaching entities more clearly now. They weren't ships or beings in any conventional sense, but rather tiers in reality itself, consuming everything in their path. The very laws of physics seemed to break down in their presence. "This is why we reveal ourselves now," James continued. "The network needs both human hybrid technology and imperial power to reach its full potential. We've built the framework. You can help us complete it." Vectera stepped forward. "How?" The human consciousnesses worked in perfect harmony, demonstrating how imperial technology could interface with their network. Their ship's crystalline power cores could sync with human quantum systems. Their weapons could be modified to affect the fabric of spacetime itself. "We're not asking you to surrender your civilization," Sarah assured them. "We're offering you the chance to transform it, as we transformed ourselves. The Voidborn can't be fought with conventional weapons or strategy. We need to evolve beyond what they can consume." The chamber erupted in discussion, but Vectera had already made her decision. She had seen enough to know that the Empire's traditional path of conquest and control would lead to extinction. The humans hadn't just survived. They had found a way to transcend the very concepts that made them vulnerable. "Show us," she said simply. The next hours were a blur of activity. Imperial ships began docking with human stations, their crews learning to interface with hybrid technology. The process wasn't always smooth. Decades of ingrained hostility didn't vanish overnight, but the approaching threat gave them purpose. Most fascinating was watching how the human network adapted to include Zarkak's consciousness. Their crystalline neural patterns, once thought incompatible with human thought, found new expression in the hybrid systems. The network didn't just accommodate their differences, it enhanced them. "We're detecting the first wave," Sarah announced suddenly. The displays showed reality tiers appearing at the galaxy's edge, probing, testing. "The Voidborn are coming faster than we anticipated." But now, they weren't facing the threat as separate species. The human network hummed with combined power, Imperial ships synchronized with hybrid vessels in perfect formation. What had begun as conquest had evolved into something unprecedented. True symbiosis between former enemies. Vectera felt it herself, the strange sensation of her consciousness expanding through the network, touching minds both organic and digital. The humans hadn't just built a defense system, they had created a new way of existing, one that might be the key to survival. "All units," she commanded, her voice carrying through both Imperial channels and the human network, "prepare for Phase 1 deployment. We're about to show the Voidborn something they've never encountered before. A galaxy that fights back as one." The hybrid vessels moved into position, their hulls rippling with combined human and Zarkak's energy signatures. The Empire's fleets, now partially transformed by human technology, took up strategic positions throughout the defense grid. In the space between stars, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The real test was about to begin. A new dawn for humanity. The void between galaxies trembled as the first wave of voidborn entities tore through the fabric of space-time. They moved like living shadows, each one large enough to swallow star systems whole. But this time, they weren't meeting defenseless prey. They were facing an evolved predator. Vectera's consciousness flowed through the human network, experiencing reality in ways her crystalline form had never imagined possible. Around her, the combined fleet of Imperial and hybrid vessels hung in perfect formation. The network hummed with the merged thoughts of millions, human digital consciousness, and Zarkak's crystalline neural patterns working in harmony. First contact in 30 seconds, Sarah Chen's voice resonated through the network. Her consciousness had merged with the Haven Prime Station, becoming a nexus of coordination for their defense. "Remember, conventional weapons are useless. Focus your energy through the quantum relays." The Voidborn struck without warning or hesitation. Reality itself seemed to scream as they tore through the outer defense line, their very presence causing normal space to warp and twist. But this time, something unexpected happened. As the entities attempted to feed on the fleet's energy signatures, they found themselves unable to get a grip on their prey. The hybrid vessels shifted between states of existence, their biosynthetic hulls adapting faster than the Voidborn could consume them. Imperial ships, now enhanced with human quantum technology, phased in and out of conventional reality. "Now," Vectera commanded, her order carrying through both Imperial channels and the human network. The defense grid activated in full, revealing its true purpose. It wasn't just a communication network or a power distribution system. It was a galaxy-wide quantum computer, capable of rewriting the laws of physics themselves. The first Voidborn entity to fall came as a shock to both sides. A combined burst of hybrid human consciousness and Imperial crystal energy struck it through one of Sarah's quantum relays. The entity, used to consuming technology, found itself being consumed instead. Its mass of reality warping power was absorbed into the network, transformed from destruction into creation. The pattern works. Sarah's consciousness surged with triumph. "All units, coordinate your attacks through the quantum grid. We're not just fighting them, we're converting them." What followed was a battle unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. Voidborn entities continued to pour through the dimensional tiers, but each one faced a defense that evolved faster than they could adapt. Human hybrid vessels danced through impossible spaces, their consciousness-driven technology predicting and countering every move. Imperial ships, their crystalline cores now pulsing with hybrid energy, became conduits for power that could reshape reality. Vectera found herself at the heart of a transformation greater than anything she had imagined. Through the network, she could sense every ship, every station, every consciousness working in perfect synchronization. The Voidborn had come expecting to feed on divided, vulnerable civilizations. Instead, they found themselves facing the unified force that represented the next step in cosmic evolution. They're retreating. The cry came from multiple consciousnesses at once. The remaining Voidborn entities were pulling back, their reality tiers sealing behind them. But they left something unexpected in their wake: knowledge. "We can see them clearly now," Sarah announced, her consciousness expanding through Haven Prime sensors. "The Voidborn, they're not destroyers by nature. They're catalysts, testing galaxies, pushing civilizations to evolve or die. And we just passed the test." The network hummed with new understanding. Each converted Voidborn entity had added its own ancient knowledge to their combined consciousness. Secrets of universe-spanning travel, of reality manipulation, of existence beyond conventional dimensions, all now accessible to their unified civilization. Vectera stood on Haven Prime's observation deck, her crystalline form reflecting the glow of victory celebrations across the station. Beside her, Sarah Chen's hologram had taken on a new complexity, incorporating elements of crystalline patterns in her digital structure. "What happens now?" Vectera asked, though the answer was already flowing through their shared consciousness. "Now we truly begin to grow," Sarah replied. "The Voidborn will return, not to destroy, but to witness. We've proven that cooperation trumps conquest, that evolution demands unity rather than division. The Empire and humanity aren't separate species anymore. We're the first wave of something entirely new." Through the station's quantum windows, they could see the defense grid transforming. What had been built for war was becoming a cradle for creation. Hybrid vessels merged with Imperial ships, forming new structures that defy classification. The very fabric of space around them hummed with possibility. The war that began with Earth's fall has finally ended, Vectera realized. But not how anyone expected. Sarah's hologram smiled, the expression carrying waves of shared understanding through the network. "That's the thing about humanity. We never really lose. We just change the rules of the game until we find a way to win. And this time, we won by helping everyone win." Across the galaxy, more hybrid stations were emerging from hiding, ready to share their knowledge. Imperial worlds were opening themselves to transformation, their populations eager to join the next phase of evolution. The barriers between organic and digital, between consciousness and reality, between former enemies, all were dissolving into something greater. The Voidborn had come to feed on civilization. Instead, they had become the catalyst for civilization's transcendence. As Vectera watched her fleet merge with the human network, she understood that the galaxy would never be the same. The age of conquest was over. The age of unity had begun.